Welcome. You're listening to the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast, creatively engineered by Nicole, the inspiration specialist. I'm Wired to Inspire is a powerfully packed 5-minute podcast filled with inspiration and encouragement to get you through your day. It's designed to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Now stay tuned for your host, Nicole, the inspiration specialist, on today's episode of I'm Wired to Inspire.
Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. It is just another wonderful day. To God be the glory. You know, we're breathing, we're alive, we have so much to be thankful for. And y'all, you know, it's such an interesting time right now, and there's so much war and so many attacks going on, you know, and one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is just really being filled up on the word, you know, because what I'm finding is, you know, God is making it to where human beings are not going to be able to give you any answers. The Lord is shifting things for some people where you're only going to find your answer in the word. You won't even get a human confirmation because he really wants you to be subjected to him. He wants you to hear him. And that's because he wants to stretch your faith. He wants you to hear directly from him. Now, we know that we can get confirmation from other people, but I know personally, even for myself, I have gone through seasons where he just shut everybody's mouth. Like I wasn't getting nothing from nobody. Everything I got came straight from him. And even though that's consistently still the case, there had come a time where there was so much going on around me where I didn't realize I just needed to shut it down because I knew what God told me in the beginning, and so many other people got involved. So many people started putting their mouth on what I knew. And it just got ugly. It just got crazy, you know. So today, you know, when I was thinking, I said, you know, God, I don't really know exactly what this thing is supposed to be and how it's supposed to pan out in my life, or actually in anybody's life for that matter. But I know you want us to take things day by day and step by step. So to the person who's listening to me right now and you are struggling taking those daily steps, let me give you a bit of encouragement. You know, there's a saying, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. No matter what it is you believe in God for, no matter what you're focused on, you just have to take your time and take it one step at a time. If I would have learned this years ago, and I'm going to say this, if I wasn't so hard-headed, you know, and I didn't want to receive it, if I wasn't in that space, you know, I would be so much further along in my life, you know, but to God be the glory, because at least I'm not even in that season of being ashamed of admitting that, because then hopefully somebody who's listening now, you won't make that same mistake, because now you'll be able to say, you know what? The Bible talks about counting the cost. There were so many things that I was approaching and attempting to do, and I was not counting the cost. You know what I'm saying? And it's like there's so many things that God has for us that we never access because we never use our God-given authority, for one, to just get every demonic force and energy out of the way. That's the first thing. And number two, we just lack obedience sometimes. We want to do things the way we think they should be done. And we just get further and further away from what it is that God has for us. You know, so I was just musing and just thinking about that. I'm like, you know, Lord, there's so many, you know, people just struggling right now. Just it's crazy, because it's like the best of times and it's the worst of times. And people, you know, you see people who just, they're positive all the time. They, you know, everything is great. And man, I wish I could be one of those people, you know, but I just know that God is a God of balance, and God wants me to be authentic. And sometimes in that authenticity, you have those raw moments and raw times where you are not who everyone thinks you should be. You are not who everyone says, you know, you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? And for those of you who are listening and you're feeling like the focal point is on you, and you just genuinely do not understand why you're doing everything God is telling you to do from the beginning to the end, and the only thing that seems to keep happening is either you're chasing your tail, or no matter what you do, it just doesn't seem to work. And over time, that's something that I had to learn, because, you know, many times, y'all, there would be things that I would be doing or attempting, and it just wasn't working because it wasn't God's time. It's just that simple. It didn't matter how hard I tried. It was not his time. Okay. So there were things that I actually abandoned and walked away from prematurely because it wasn't coming in the time frame that I wanted it to come. Then there were other things that I was pursuing, and God was like, I don't care how long you pursue it, how many years, how much time you take. I'm just not going to give it to you because it's just beneath what I have for you. It's on a lower level. It's not a kingdom kid level. You want something that is not a representation of me. And if I gave it to you, then I would not be who I said I was to you. So for those of you who are listening and you are feeling like God is just, being a tyrant, or, God is going to punish you or he's punishing you because he didn't do something. Y'all, you have to think about the things that God says to you. And you have to remember in the word, he says that he is not a man that he should lie. So since he's not a liar, he is going to make sure you get the spoils. He is going to make sure that every good and perfect gift comes from him. So if that's not what it's looking like, you're not going to get that. Jesus didn't die on the cross for you to get leftovers. Jesus didn't die on the cross for you to just get scraps. That's not who we serve. And so you have to remember that today. Like, listen, I know you're seeking God and you're just trying to get it right, huh? I feel you, man. Like, me too. Like, you're just really trying to get it right. You're not trying to compete with nobody. You're not trying to insert yourself in a situation you don't belong in. You're not trying to, be a backstabber, backbiter. Like, you're legit just a good person. You're just trying to get this thing right the way God wants you to. And it just seems like no matter how hard you try, it's just one thing after another. Well, if that's the case for you, just please, please, please be encouraged. There will always be somebody that's going to try to cheap shot what you do. There's always going to be somebody who's a hater, jealous, going to try to tear you down. Let me tell you something. Those people are people who actually are helping you on your journey. Now, you can waste time on what you think they are and who you think they should be or how you should attack them, but that's just a waste of time. That is a total waste of your life and your energy. People who try to come against what you do, you should learn how to rejoice in those things. Because when people try to shut you down, when people try to attack you, you have to pay attention to the reason why. You have to figure out and say, okay, Lord, what's going on in my life? Because see, what happens is the enemy believes what God is going to do for us more than we believe it for us. So when he starts attacking you, somebody listening right now, he wearing you out. He just attacking everything. You giving him a whole bunch of credit and he over there cheesing and bucked up because you said, oh, the devil did this, the enemy did that. And the Lord is like, listen, I've given you the power to step on them and to crush them. I've given you the authority. They just like a scorpion. You can kill it and crush it and get rid of it. I've given you the authority and the power to do that, but you're not, because you keep constantly giving them the authority. You keep telling them, oh, well, the enemy did it. Okay, well, at what point will you take your artillery that you have to go against the enemy to win? At what point are you going to say, I'm going to change the narrative now and I'm going to change the outcome? I'm going to encourage somebody listening, okay, who's not in the best place and you really just don't understand what God is doing. Look at your calendar today and mark it. Okay, mark your calendar today. And I want you to write in the box on your calendar or type it on your phone 6 months from now. Okay. And I want you to take 3 goals, 3 legitimate goals that will require you to do things that you may or may not want to do. It could be a weight loss goal. It could be a relationship goal. It could be a traveling goal, a business goal. It could be a health goal, a family goal, whatever. Write 3 goals down that you have to change in the next